Looking forward to Saturday and playing Boston College. At Fenway, that'll be a good experience for our guys. And again, we're going to be playing an opponent that's a very physical football team that likes to run the ball, use a lot of play action, very aggressive on defense. They have a couple of tailbacks that are really good, John Hillman and A.J. Dillon. Unfortunate for their quarterback, Anthony Brown, to have that injury that he had, but Darius Wade is a guy who has experience and who played, and they're big up front. Defensively, like I said, they're very aggressive. Zach Allen, Kevin Bletzer are guys that really show up and stand out on film. And the kick returner, Michael Walker, is a really good return guy for them as well. So I thought we had a good day today. We were inside, wanted to go outside, but with the rain and the wetness of the field, but we'll get out tomorrow and hopefully Thursday, because we tried to work in terms of the sideline where you're going to be. It's a little bit different, so we had to work that today in practice, and we'll work that all week long. Because again, if you're on your side of the field, it's okay, but if you're not, then you got a long way to go and all those things. So I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully we can stay, injury-free this week and go up there and play, a good ball game.
What impresses you about A.J. Dillon?
Just strong, powerful, guy that, physical, 36 carries last week, durable. You gotta tackle him. You can't tackle him high. You tackle him high, you're gonna get carried for a ride.
You mentioned the sideline situation. How does that impact substitution patterns?
No, you just got to do what. You can't go past the 45-yard line, but we're still got to do all the things we do. But they got to give you time. If the other team substitutes, they got to give you time to run your guys on, and guys can go out the end zone and back up the sideline. So it's just something you have to adjust to, and know that it'd be hard to sub if they're not subbing. You're going to have a tough time probably subbing. So that's something that you got to be concerned with.
Tough for the head coaches as well, obviously. Not that you always need an ear in the official, but you're 40 yards away from a play a lot of times. Is that tougher for you?
I don't ever talk to the officials. I've given that up after the last few weeks. It doesn't do any good, so it's no sense. But I don't know. It's going to be an ACC crew. It won't be an American crew. So I'll just leave it at that.
Randy, are you at a point in the season where you might give a younger player with less ability than the player ahead of him a chance to play in these last couple of games?
No. I'm going to play. I'm going to play the guys that I think give us the best opportunity to win. If that happens to be a younger guy, then we'll do that. But we're pretty much tapped out, so to speak, Joe, from the standpoint that the guys that we have, and we've been playing a lot of guys anyhow. But no, there's, I'm just thinking in terms of the roster. There's really nothing there that. I see that. because if I would have listed it in the two deep, who's starting and all those sort of things. But no, we're not gonna do that. Chris Britton's not playing. He's in concussion protocol. He won't play. So it's one of those things.
Brayton Brown coming back?
Yeah, he's back, but he's he's right now he's not in the 2 deep. He's back on campus.
How do you think Pindell performed last week?
I thought David did some really good things. I thought he was out. I saw a guy that was more confident in terms of what he was doing out there and playing with confidence, playing fast. Again, there's still things that he's got to work on, just like all the guys do. But I was very pleased with what he was able to bring to the table. couple mechanical things and fundamental things we, still working with him on. But like I said, I did like the fact that he played fast and he played with a lot more confidence, in my opinion.
And you said you try and tailor things a little bit to what he's most comfortable with. How conservative were you really with him, and can you push it a little more with him based on what you saw last week?
Yeah, I don't think we were conservative at all with him last week. I think we had plays in and we ran those plays, and again, against what we thought was best against Central Florida. Now, there might be some things that we do a little bit differently, this week against Boston College, just based on, what they do schematically. So, but again, we're going to do the things that we feel give us the best opportunity to attack their defense, and that David feels comfortable with, and that that he can execute.
What was your missed tackle count last week, and maybe the best of the year?
I don't know.
But it was better.
It was better, but I didn't look at it because it didn't seem to show up as much, and again, I think that's just, it's a mindset. It's guys running to the football, doing those things, because, one of the things I was concerned about was number 9, Killens, and his speed and everything else, and he never got loose. Now, the other guy got loose one time, but that was because, we didn't have a guy coming hard enough on the blitz that he was supposed to go and come underneath and, probably make the tackle in the backfield if he came underneath, and then we had a guy in the hole that missed the tackle, So, other than that, but I did thought, but, we're going to have to tackle well this week, yeah. We're going to be tested this week, And BC's always noted they got a big offensive line and everything else. So as I told the team, this will be the most physical test we get all year long. So, we're going to have to step it up on both sides of the line, big time.
Randy, how have you seen the offensive line develop through 10 games?
Been inconsistent. There's things that they've done better, and things that we continue to work on. Ryan Vandermark is a guy that is trying like crazy and working his tail off, has the tools that it takes to be really, really good. It's just weight and strength with him. Cam DeGeorge, same thing, weight and strength. Trying and everything, and Brendan, Veckery's got to play lower. Trey's got to play lower and have a little bit more balance. Matt, we want to get Matt to be more dominant. Matt can really, to me, can be a dominant player, but we got to get that mentality with him to do that. And again, we got to learn to play with our knees bent a little bit more. We still play a little bit we play too high, and that's one thing that we just keep working on. And you can see some improvement, and there's things we did today that I thought were better in practice. So, but we got to get them. We just got to get all of our guys just to be more consistent. And you see it, and that's what I told them. You see things, but then it's like, then it's back. Then we take inconsistency in another area. So it's just that repetition, doing the routine over and over and over and over again. That's the thing that we have to do. Just one other thing. Bryant Sheriffs, he won't be playing the rest of the year. He still has the symptoms, and he came in and saw me today and told me that he just thinks it's going to be in his best interest. He hasn't been cleared. He's still got the concussion, still got symptoms, but he came to me and just said that basically he was going to be done, and just whatever he can do to help the team, that's what he's going to do. So that was a decision, because he was still in concussion protocol. Still symptomatic, but he came in to see me, and I just told him I really appreciate, everything that he's done, here this year, and appreciate how competitive, he is, and how much he tried to do everything that he could to help the team win. So, that's where I just wanted to share that with everybody and get that out, and because again, the kid is tough. He did the things that he had to do, and I told him, the way he handled the situation, throughout the year, I thought was outstanding in terms of, being ready to go in that first game and coming through and working and doing the things you need to do. So, it's unfortunate, but he's at peace with himself. He won't be available because he's still in, concussion protocol and all those things. But he's very appreciative of and glad that he came back, and I'm glad that he did come back. And he had a good year. He went out and did a lot of good things, to help the team try to win.
Will he be around the team and travel with the team?
Those are things I still have to talk with the doctors about, and then plus, I've got to be cognizant of the fact that, everybody's going to Fenway. We're taking everybody up there. The travel squad will go up on Friday, the non-traveler guys will come up Saturday afternoon, so everybody will be there. But then I just got to be cognizant of the fact that, he's got a family and all those things, and he's been away from them, and, so I think that it might be better served for him to spend more time, with his family. So those are things that decisions that I have to weigh, and also with talking with, with our doctors as well.
Is it, obviously you played games where you know the coaching staffs well. I don't know how well, Coach Dazio, but obviously Coach Pasqualoni a little bit. When that happens, does that give any side an advantage, and you got some familiarity with what they used to do or what they've done before?
It's down to players.
Yeah.
It's players against players. You can watch the film and make the calls and try to get guys in the right position, but then it comes down to the guys on the field. I have a tremendous amount of respect, for Steve and his coaching staff. I think Steve is a good person. He's a good coach. He's done a good job there. You take a look at the number of bowl games he's been to, everything else, and you take a look at what they've been able to do. And so, like I said, I have a lot of respect. And he's a guy. He's a hard-nosed, run the ball guy and get after you, and his teams play to his personality.
Isn't it nice to be playing a team like that instead of these high-powered, snap the ball every 8 seconds?
Well, they know huddle. I mean, they get up on the ball. I mean, they're a no huddle team. So, yeah, it'll be a little bit different than from what we're used to in terms of. I mean, they still spread people out and everything, but they're not a team that throws it 50 times a game. Steve would rather run it 80 times a game, I think, is what he'd rather do. But again, it's going to be interesting because, I mean, they're calling for not too good weather, on Saturday night, a lot of rain and everything else. So, you have to factor that into the equation a little bit too. But, I know what their bread and butter is. Their bread and butter is they want to run the ball and play action, and those are things that they want to do.
How important is this matchup for football in New England in the Northeast?
Well, my thing is it's we get a chance to play, Boston College, who's had a really good history of football at the highest level, and we've kind of just been introduced to this level 10 years ago, 12 years ago, how many years ago it was, and again, it's a chance for us to compete against them and hopefully get a win. And I think it's good just because of being here in the Northeast and neighboring states and those things that we get an opportunity to play them. So we just got to hopefully take advantage of that opportunity and see what happens.
And this is a game you want to see on a yearly basis?
I would have no problem playing Boston College on a yearly basis. That wouldn't be any issue with me, but I'm not the guy who makes those decisions.
How has Pindell grown as a leader of the offense, commanding the huddle and those sort of things?
Again, I think, as I said, he's a guy that's gotten more comfortable. You could see that in the way he played. I just think that, anytime that you do something and you continually do it over and over and over again, you should get confidence in doing that. And I think with all those reps that he's had in practice, and he had a chance to sit back and evaluate what happened in that first game. David's a conscientious young man who wants to do well, who has a lot of pride, and he took the coaching, took all those things and put it together and took advantage of the opportunities he had. And, and like I said, I think, I don't know. I mean, it's hard, it doesn't matter. You come in from a situation, maybe he put too much pressure on himself, wasn't as comfortable, with things. And now, like I said, I just saw Saturday, I saw a guy that was a lot more confident, out there and played with a lot more confidence. than what he did in that first ball game, which was good to see because we knew he had talent, and we knew he has the ability. And there's things that he just has to continue to work on to get better at.
What about their pass rush? Landry's being touted as a pretty highly drafted kid, and Zach Allen's a...
Yeah, he hasn't played. Zach Allen's really good. I mean, Landry hasn't played a lot, I don't think, the last 2 weeks. I don't think he's played the last 2 weeks. But he's definitely a guy that can rush the passer and does a good job. But, Zach Allen is a force, as well.
Santana Sterling listed as the starter. How do you see his progress this year? What does he do well?
Smart guy, understands how people are going to attack you. He's got a nose for the ball, and usually is where he's supposed to be.
Randy, just to circle back to Brian for a moment, when a player comes upon his last game, and it's really sudden in his case, in other cases you know exactly when your career is going to end, but just how emotional of an experience is that, do you think, to know that something you've been dedicated to for so long is now over?
We talked about that a little bit this morning, when he came in, and I said, everybody's career is going to end at some point in time, and when it does, the one thing that you want to be able to do is walk away healthy, and he's going to be able to do that, and I think that he's at peace. I know he's at peace with himself from the standpoint that that he did everything that he could to be the best player and the best teammate that he could be. And that's really, the thing that's important. And, because, like I said, football ends, but now you got to go on with life at some point in time. And I think he's going to be well equipped to be able to do that and be successful. But it's hard. It's hard anytime as he said, you play a game since you were this high, and all of a sudden, but like I said, I think with him, he's at peace with himself and understands that this is something that he really didn't have any control over, and it's the nature of the sport, and like I said, he's at peace with himself. And he, I think the one thing is he appreciates what the game of football has done for him as a person, and how the game and the sport has helped him grow and develop as a young man, and where that will lead him, now being a father and down the road.
On his radio show yesterday, Steve Adazio was asked about how this game is recruiting. He responded by saying, we're in the ACC. If you're a good player, you want to play at the highest level of football. We don't recruit against UConn. Any thoughts on that statement?
That's what he said. That's what he believes. It's his prerogative to be able to say that. I'm not going to get into that. He's right. They are in the ACC, and but it's what he believes. So.